Hello friends, this is Ponniyin Selvan, episode 24. In last week's episode, we saw the long-awaited Vandiyathevan Kundavai's meet cute. We also saw Vandiyathevan take up his next mission, and as usual, we saw Nambi witnessing them all from a hidden place. The story is really getting heated up, isn't it? And today, for the first time, the story is going to take us to Mamallapuram. In Mamallapuram, a horse-drawn chariot was strolling through its streets. The chariot was so grandeur that there is no doubt it belongs to the royal family. Inside the chariot were three men. Most grandeur in handsomeness, strength and bravery was our crown prince Aditya Karigalan. Yes, the same prince who sent Vandiyathevan to deliver the letters. Looking slight in comparison only because he was sitting next to the prince was Parthibendra Pallavarayan. During that period, the Pallavas didn't reign, but they still worked very close with the Chola kingdom. They were friends with the royal family and they were designated important roles in the kingdom. And during the recent war between the Cholas and the Pandyas, in the battle where Aditya Karikalar beheaded the king Veerapandiyar, Parthibendra Pallavarayar fought valiantly right beside Aditya Karikalar, which made them good friends and comrades. The third person along with them in the carriage was older but wiser, with clear signs that he was once as strong and handsome just like the other two men. He is Miladudayar, alias Malayaman. He is Vanama Devi's father, King Sundara Chola's father-in-law, and Prince Aditya Karikalar's grandfather. The chariot came to a stop, and all three men got down next to the seashore and walked along the beach to reach the boats that were being loaded up with food and supplies. There was a ship waiting in the sea to take the food supplies to Ceylon for Prince Arulmozhivarmar's army. The hot topic that they were discussing amongst them was none other than Vandiyathevan and the recent announcement made by the Palvettariyars.
How dare they proclaim Vandiyathevan a spy, a man I sent to deliver the letters I wrote, and adding insult, they have announced a reward too for anyone who catches him,
roared Aditya Karikalar angrily. Parthibendran replied a bit light-heartedly than his friend. Apt man you chose for the job. I'm sure he was making some mischief as usual. Maybe that's why they must have labelled him a spy.
No, Parthibendra. You undermine Vandiyathevan too much. I am sure he somehow tricked them and successfully delivered the letter to my father. That is what might have triggered this response out of them,
guessed Aditya Karikalar, like he saw the whole thing with his own eyes. Looks like Aditya Karikalar has good grasp on both his friends, but only Parthibendran seems to have a disagreement with Aditya Karikalar's friendship with Vandiyathevan. You never doubt his abilities. Anyway, now why are we sending all this food away when we are going through a drought? What do you plan for us? Eat sand? Said Parthibendran bitterly.
True, that is what infuriates me. Either the food should have been sent from Tanjavur or from the Pandya kingdom. But the Palvettariyars impeded both from happening. Makes me want to go there right now to put a full stop to their atrocities,
said Aditya Karikalar. Now that's the spirit. Come, let's gather some of our troops, board the ship, go to our brother Arulmozhi and finish the Ceylon battle once and for all. Then collect him and his troops too, sail back to Tanjavur and finish the Palvettariyars in the same breath, said Parthibendran. Aditya Karikalar looked at his grandfather and said,
You haven't said a word till now, Grandpa. Why don't you say something?
Malayaman, with all the years of wiseness in his voice, said,
On one side, the sea is roaring. On the other side, your friend is roaring. How do you think I get a word in edgewise?
Asked Malayaman. Tata, you know, I'll shut up even if you open your mouth to yawn. Please proceed. You will not hear a word from me, said Parthibendran obediently. Grandfather Malayaman started.
I have seen both of your bravery first-handed in every battle, and I don't worry about it a single bit. But when it comes to wisdom, shrewdness, and forethought is where I worry about you the most. You only see the enemy marching head on. You don't see the enemy who's plotting right next to you. It's not your fault, it's your age. Just a few minutes back, you were planning to get on the ship to Ceylon, and I'm not afraid of that. But I wouldn't dare let you go to Tanjore right now. Karigala, it's crucial for our kingdom that you learnt both bravery and politics, which is why I advise you to be more patient,
said Malayaman. Tata, I can see that you're trying to teach me a valuable lesson, but I wish you would just give it to me straight, said Aditya Karikalar impatiently.
You just proved my point. Okay, I will tell you. Do you know what makes a kingdom? It's the support of a lot of petty kingdoms that makes up any kingdom. Same goes for our Chola kingdom too. And one of those petty kingdom is your grandfather's Miladudayan Tirukkovalur Malayaman, Periyavelan, Paluvettarayan, Sambuvarayan, and so many others who support this kingdom is what makes it a kingdom. The Paluvettarayars have been seeing me as their rival for a long time, ever since I married my daughter to the king. Now, if you or your brother becomes the next king, my position becomes even more stronger, which is why he is anxious to make his position stronger. He isn't thinking clearly. One clear indication of it is his marrying that teenaged girl at this young age,
said Malayaman. Aditya Karikalan, who was listening to everything his grandfather said till now with weariness, suddenly became silently enraged. His eyes grew darker. His breath became faster. His forehead started sweating and his body started shaking. Malayaman seemed oblivious to all of this, but not Parthibendran. He noticed the subtle changes in his friend but didn't raise any attention to it. He decided to steer the topic away. Tata, forget his marriage. Come to the plotting. What do you think he's plotting? Asked Parthibendran. Malayaman began again.
A few days back, in Kadambur Sambuvarayar's palace, they held a secret meeting in the middle of the night, presided by Paluvettarayar. Although most of the people who attended the meeting were from my generation, two youngsters like you attended too. One was Sambuvarayar's son, Kandamaran. The other is your uncle, Madurandagar.
Aditya Karikalar, who was only half listening till now, suddenly started laughing hearing Madurandagar's name.
Now you're being intentionally funny, Tata. Madurandagar roams around with religious marking all over his body. Why are you considering him a threat?
Asked Aditya Karikalar.
In which world are you, Adityan? He used to be religious. He used to be. Not anymore. Now he has married several times. The two all are political marriages. Remember, the petty kingdoms I was talking about. He's courting them one by one by marriage,
said Malayaman.
Okay, what do you want me to do, Tata?
Asked Aditya Karikala.
We must tread very, very carefully, Karigala. Not supplying food to Ceylon, confining your father to Tanjavur. It's all part of their devious plan to create trouble between you and your brother. They will be hoping that if they don't send food to Ceylon, if Arulmozhi loses the battle in Ceylon, it might create a rift between you two, especially now since your father is bedridden.
Warned Malayaman.
That will never happen, Tata. I will never fight with my brother over anything,
swore Aditya Karikala.
That's well and good, but I would still advise you to bring your brother back immediately. It's best if you both work together through these troubled waters,
advised Malayaman. I will go. I will start immediately and go fetch the young prince, volunteered Parthibendran.
That's up to you both. But Aditya, don't send someone imprudent like that Vandyadevan,
said Tata, and Parthibendran laughed as if to point out, I told you so.
Why, Tata? Did you hear anything about him?
Asked Aditya Karikala.
Yes, I did. I didn't get an invite to the midnight secret meeting, so I became suspicious. When everyone dispersed from Kadambur, I trapped Kundrattur Kilar on his way back and took him to the castle jail. From him, I gathered everything. Initially, I suspected that Vandyadevan too was part of the treacherous meeting, but he confirmed that Vandyadevan wasn't. Did you know that Karambur Sambhuvarayar's son, Kandamaran, and Vandyadevan are close friends?
Asked Malayaman.
Yes, I knew that. They both served in my troop together. That's how they became friends,
said Aditya Karikala.
That's why I doubted him. But then I heard that he stabbed Kandamaran in the back while escaping from Tanjavur palace. So I thought, maybe not,
said Malayaman, but he was cut short by Aditya Karikala.
What? Vandyadevan stabbed Kandamaran in the back? No way, Tata. I will never accept it. Vandyadevan will never ever betray a friend like that.
But Malayaman pursued.
Maybe Kandamaran tried to convince Vandyadevan to betray you. Maybe that's why he stabbed him in the back. Even if Kandamaran tried to convince him, Vandyadevan would have fought him face to face, not stab him from behind,
said Aditya Karikalar. And by a miracle, rather than rain in May, Parthibendran too spoke in support of Vandyadevan. Even I wouldn't believe this, Tata. My objections to him is only because he starts flirting any time he sees a beautiful woman. But Vandyadevan will never stab anyone in the back, said Parthibendran.
Whatever. I am just repeating what I heard. Using that as the reason only, the Palvettarayars have tagged him a spy and is looking for him,
said Malayaman.
I am pretty sure after escaping the Palvettarayars, he would have gone straight to Kundavai. I sent with him a letter for her too,
said Adityan, and Malayaman was extremely elated.
That's a clever thing you did. I am sure she must have already dived into action. She is one smart cookie, your sister. If she and Arulmozhi comes here during this time, if all three of you get together, I am sure you can defeat every misfortune that is waiting to befall this great dynasty. We can hand over the planning department to your sister, and jump into action right away. She is the Chola dynasty's most brilliant strategist.
Finished Tata as he heard a stage drama start a little ways away from the beach.
You guys watch over the boat's loading. Let me go watch the drama,
said Malayaman and withdrew himself from the conversation. Once Malayaman was out of earshot, Parthibendran asked the question he had saved from before. Aditya, my friend, you share everything with me, even the royal secrets. Yet, it feels like you seem to be hiding something within you that's eating you alive. Why don't you just tell me about it already? He asked.
What are you talking about?
Asked Aditya Karikalar. Anytime someone mentions Palvettariyar's recent marriage or anyone mentions his young wife, you become a different man. Your face becomes rigid and a certain darkness engulfs you. Just spit it out and maybe you will feel better, said Parthibendran.
You have once again proved you are a good friend. No one has noticed this before. I'm not sure I'll feel any relief by telling it to you. It's a curse I'll carry with me for the rest of my life. But I'll tell you everything,
said Aditya Karikalar, and he went down the memory lane. The flashback that's about to shift the entire paradigm of the story. To know this flashback, you folks have to wait for one more week. Until then, stay tuned to Kadhatellaporom channel. Bye-bye.